What is the 1's complement? If it is 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. That is what I have kept here. Okay. Sorry, there is a disturbance. So I kept the 6 and I kept the -2 in 1's complement form. Now if I perform the addition, check it, what is the value I will get? 0 and 1, sum is 1, carry is 0. 1 and 0, sum is 1, carry is 0. 1 and 1, sum is 0, carry is 1. Again 1 and 1, sum is 0, end carry I got 1. Now I got the end carry as 1. If the end carry is 1, what I have asked you to do? Add this 1 to the LSB. If you add this 1 to the LSB, then what you will get? 1 and 1. Sum is 0, carry is 1. Again 1 and 1. Sum is 0, carry is 1. 0 and 1, you will get 1. How many members have understood? Now if you have a doubt, this 0100, you convert into decimal number. What is 0100?
4.
It is 4. Am I right? So 6 minus 2 is 4 only or not? How many members have understood this one? Okay. Now for practice, I request everyone to do this one. 4 minus 3, can you please do it? Can you please do it? 4 minus 3. Yeah, which is nothing but 1 only. Am I right? Yeah. Let me check it with others. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, that's good. Now you try to do 3 minus 4. Those who have completed, do the 3 minus 4. Yeah. We will not get any no carry. Now what I said, that's correct only. So you does not get the carry. So now whatever the result you got, what is the number you got? What is the number you got? Can you tell me? 110. Now you compute the 1's complement for this one. Compute the 1's complement for that R. What is the 1's complement for R? 1. And add negative sign to it. That is what? The result is negative and is in 1's complement form. So this number you got 001. So it is 1. So you keep it as -1. How many members have understood this point? See, when you are performing A plus B1, you will get the end carry as 1 or you will get the end carry as 0. If you get the end carry as 1, that 1 you need to add to the LSB, and whatever the result you got is a positive number. Okay. If you get the end carry as 0, whatever the result you got, you convert into again 1's complement. Okay, and add negative sign in front of it. Is it clear? How many members have understood this point? Yeah. I will do it for you. Don't worry. Now let's take that I want to do 2 minus 6. Okay. Now, what is the first step? Step 1 is that I need to write the 2, which is 0010. Similarly, I need to write 6. Okay. What is 6 value? 6
Zero double
value 0110.
10.
Okay. Now, what is the step 1? What is the step 1? I need to find the ones complement of it. Okay. Ones complement of 6 I need to get. What is the ones complement of 6? 1010. Okay. Is it clear? Now what I need. Oh, sorry. There is a 1 here. So 10. Here 0 is there. So I kept 1. Here two ones are there. So two zeros. Here 0 is there. So 1. Good. Okay. So now what you need to do? Let me write here. So the procedure is 2 plus 1's complement of 6. Am I right or wrong? Okay. Now I got the 2 as 0010. And similarly, I got the 1's complement of 6 is 1001. Can anyone perform the addition of these numbers and can you tell me what is the value you will get? You will get 1, 0, 1. Am I right? Am I right? What is the end carry? End carry is 0. Will you agree with me or not? Okay. The end carry is 0 and the sum is 1011. If the end carry is 1, then we would have performed this 1 to the add 1 to this LSB. But if the end carry is 0, then compute the 1's complement of this one. Remove this 1, compute the 1's complement of this number. What is the 1's complement? 0100, which is equal to what? 4. Am I right? 0 and keep the negative sign in front of it. So which is minus 4. 2 minus 6 is minus 4 or not? Is it clear? Anyone still have any doubts? 10. Okay, 1011. Now please check it. I think everyone know what is an end carry. Am I right? The end carry is 0 here. The step is here clearly mentioned. If the end carry is 1, then perform this procedure. If the end carry is 0, means else is what? Else is nothing but if the end carry is not 1, then what we need to do? The result is negative and is in 1's complement form. So we need to compute the 1's complement of this one. 1011. I computed the 1's complement. I got 0100. Convert this 0100 into decimal number. This is a binary number. You need to convert into decimal number. What is it? Which is 0 into 2 power 0 plus 0 into 2 power 1 plus 1 into 2 to the power 2 plus 0 into 2 power 3, which is equal to 4. And they said keep the negative sign in front of the result. So that's why I got minus 4. Is it clear? Yeah. How many? Please write down these steps. These steps, if you understand, this is more than sufficient. You can easily solve any binary subtraction using 1's complement. Okay. Please maintain a separate notebook and write all the steps in a notebook instead of taking the snapshots. Okay. It will be easy for you when you are preparing for the mid exam or end semester exams. Yeah. If everyone it is clear, then I will discuss how to perform the binary subtraction using 2's complement, because in a computer we will always use the 2's complement representation only. Why we are not going for the 1's complement and sign magnitude representation? For 0 we have two representations in the sign magnitude and 1's complement, so that's why in computer we are using the 2's complement representation. Now let me discuss what are the steps involved in performing the binary subtraction using 2's complement. The first step is, if I want to perform a minus b, first I need to compute the 2's complement of b. What is 2's complement of b? 1's complement of b plus 1. Am I right or wrong? So I got the 2's complement of b and I represent it as b2. Now I will perform a plus b2. If I again perform a plus b2, there will be two cases. The end carry may be 1 or maybe 0. If the end carry is 1, please read this instruction. Ignore the carry. Ignore the carry means just leave it. The result is a positive number. This is the difference between 1's complement subtraction and 2's complement subtraction. In 1's complement subtraction, if we got the end carry as 1, we have added this 1 to the LSB of the result. But in 2's complement form, if we get the end carry as 1, we will ignore the carry and the result is a positive number. Else meaning is that if the end carry is 0, if the end carry is 0, again the result is negative. Whatever the result you got R, compute the 2's complement of it. Is it clear? Have you understand the steps? To make you understand this procedure, I will discuss one example. I want to perform 6 minus 2 using 2's complement represent 1. So first step is what? I need to compute the 2's complement of this 2. What is the 2's complement of 2 is, first I computed the 1's complement plus 1. So which is 2's complement, which is 1110. Now I have written the binary representation of the 6, which is 0110, and then 2's complement of the 2 I have written 1110, and I perform the binary addition. 0 and 0 is 0, 1 and 1, sum is 1, carry is 1. If the carry is 1, this will be 1 plus 1 plus 1, so the sum will be 1 and carry will be 1. Now again 1 and 1, sum will be 0, carry is 1. Now we got the end carry as 1. If the end carry is 1, what is the instruction is given here? Ignore the carry. So I ignored this carry and I have written as 0100, which is equal to plus 4. How many members have understood? How many members have understood? Now I request everyone to do the 2 minus 6 using 2's complement form. 2 minus 6 using 2's complement subtraction. Two minus 6, can you please do using 2's complement subtraction? What is the means? You got the R double 100. Means after performing the A plus B2 or after computing the 2's complement. A's plus B's complement, you got 1100. Everyone got it? Now what is the end carry here? End carry is 0. If the end carry is 0, what you need to do? Again, you need to take the 2's complement, so you will get 0, 1, 0, 0. You can cross check it. So which is equal to 4, and you need to keep the negative sign in front of it. So it is minus 4. See, those who are getting the doubts are how. Can you repeat? Okay. Some of your classmates only told me that, sir, after performing A plus B2, we got the double one double zero. And as the end carry is 0, what is the procedure you need to do? Again, you need to compute the 2's complement of this number. What is the 2's complement of double one double zero? Is 0, 1, double zero. If you convert into binary number, if you convert this binary number to decimal number, you will get 4, and you need to add minus sign of in front of it, because that is what. I given 2 minus 6 na. I asked everyone to do 2 minus 6. Okay. Is it clear? Someone has asked the doubt. Is it clear? Okay. See, if you get the end carry as 0, always, if it is 1's complement subtraction, you need to compute the 1's complement of the result and add a sign, negative sign in front of it. If it is 2's complement, you need to compute the 2's complement of it and add negative sign in front of it. Okay. Just you please follow these instructions. In these instructions, I have clearly mentioned what you need to do. Okay. Yeah, I will tell you. In exam, if someone has asked you perform A minus B using 1's complement, then you need to follow the 1's complement. In exam, if someone has asked you perform A minus B using 2's complement, then you need to do. Now, what the computer will do? Computer will do using the 2's complement only. Because I have already discussed what is the problem with the 1's complement, because always computer, the negative numbers will be represented using the 2's complement form only. So the computer will do the 2's complement only. If even you are giving 6 minus 2, computer will do like this only. Because we does not have a separate circuit for subtraction. Using the addition only, we will do the subtraction. Yeah, if later you worry about the PPT, first listen the class. Anyway, I will share both the lecture and PPT also. But I request you to please note down these points also. Okay. Shall I go for the next topic? Okay. So we are done with the number system. Even now you can ask me, sir, you have discussed about the binary addition, binary subtraction. Now why you are not discussing about the binary multiplication, binary division? All these things we no need to discuss, because if you are a CSE students, you will learn in the course called computer organization. We have a Booth's algorithm, okay, for performing the binary multiplication. All these things we no need to discuss here, because as you are beginners, why we are discussing the number system is that you may get the doubt, sir, we are writing everything in the English, but how the computer will understand? Now this is the way the computer will understand, and you may get the doubt how the negative numbers will be stored. So that's why even I have discussed the sign magnitude representation, 1's complement representation, and 2's complement representation. Is it clear? So now we will go for the next concept called algorithm. Let me close this PPT and open the another PPT to discuss what is an algorithm, what are the characteristics of an algorithm, and how to write an algorithm, how to analyze an algorithm. All these things I will discuss one by one in detail. First, let me tell you what is an algorithm. I will not read this definition. First, I will ask you with a simple example. Suppose there is a class at 11 o'clock. You know that Monday 11 o'clock programming class is there. Then what is the steps you would have done? Anyone can tell me? Anyone can tell me if you have a class at 11 o'clock, what are the things you have done to attend the class? Yeah, correct. That is the step one. Yeah, you will go to your Gmail. Yeah, correct. Am I right? And then you will attend the class. So this is what all the steps. Am I right? Now, what is the problem here? Attending the class is the problem. What is the solution? Switch on your laptop. Then go to your Gmail, click on the link and attend the class. Am I right? Now, similarly, an algorithm is also a solution to the problem. Okay, let's take that. You can ask me what are the problems here. Now I want to perform the addition of two numbers. That is a problem. And you know what is the solution. Similarly, I want to find the roots of a quadratic equation. That is a problem. I want to find the solution. Similarly, I want to find the factorial of a number. That is a problem. How can I find the solution? Now you can tell me one thing, sir. Factorial we can do several ways. Am I right? Similarly, if I want to find the, or if I want to check whether the given number is prime number or not, lot of people will do different procedures to check whether the given number is prime number or not. So a problem can have more than one solution. Am I right or wrong? Is it clear? Even in the real time, for a problem, we will have multiple solutions. Among the multiple solutions, we will find the best solution and we will try to implement the best solution. Now, algorithm is also a solution to a problem. Now, even our solution will have a step-by-step procedure. So, similarly, algorithm is also a step-by-step procedure which defines a set of instructions to be executed in a certain order to get the desired output. Is it clear? Now let me discuss this statement with an example. Are you able to view the PPT? I hope you are able to view the
Yes, sir.
PPT. Okay. 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 Now, what is the meaning of that which defines a set of instructions need to be executed in a certain order? Now, to attend the class, what are the steps you are done? Switching on the laptop, opening the Gmail account, clicking on the link, and attend the class. Now, these steps you need to execute in an order. Without switching on the laptop, you cannot open the Gmail. Without opening the Gmail, you cannot enter, you cannot click it. So, you are executing all the steps in a sequence. Am I right? Similarly, you want to check whether the means finding the roots of a quadratic equation. What is the step one you will do? You will find the determinant. If the determinant is greater than or equal to 0, you will do one thing. If it is less than 0, you will do one thing. So you are executing certain steps in an order. Similarly, your mother has asked you to prepare a tea. Then you need to execute the instructions in a certain order. First thing is that you need to bring the milk. If the milk is there in the fridge, you need to open the fridge and you need to bring the milk, and then you need to switch on the gas and you need to keep the milk on the gas. Like that, you need to execute the instructions in an order. Am I right? If you interchange these instructions, you will not get the output in a desired one. Am I right or wrong? Is it clear? So, algorithm is a step-by-step procedure which defines a set of instructions to be executed in a certain order to get the desired output. And one more thing, algorithms are generally created independent of underlying language. Means whether you are good at C programming language or you are good at the Java language, but the algorithm is only one proper standard which will looks like a English. then algorithms will be converted into flowcharts, or algorithms will be converted into programs based on the programming language. So algorithm is not independent on programming language. Whatever the programming language you want to solve it, but the algorithm is a fixed one. Is it clear? Then based on what programming language you know, you can convert this algorithm into a program. How many members understood what is an algorithm? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's good to hear. Now let me discuss what is the characteristics of an algorithm. Please remember one thing, any algorithm should satisfy all these 5 characteristics. Let me discuss about each characteristic in detail. We have 5 characteristics and they are input, output, definiteness, finiteness, and effectiveness. Now input, any algorithm can have 0 or more inputs. Any algorithm can have 0 or more inputs. Now, let me give an example for an algorithm which has 0 inputs. Just I want to display your name. Now, for that one, let me write an algorithm so that you will understand. I will write the step 1, start, step 2. This is an algorithm, okay? Display, my name is Jagadish. Step 3, stop. Can you tell me, am I taking any input here? Am I taking?
No, sir.
Yeah. So an algorithm can have 0 or more inputs. Suppose let's take that here I have taken another example. This algorithm is to perform addition of 2 numbers and store the result and display the result. Now, if you look at here, I have step 1 start, declare 3 integers a comma b comma c, read the values of a and b, because if I want to perform the addition in a and b, I need to know the values of a and b. Now here how many inputs are there? Here how many inputs are there? 2 inputs are there. A and B are the 2 inputs. So an algorithm can have 0 or more inputs. Okay. Now let me discuss what is an output. Every algorithm should produce at least one output. Every algorithm should produce at least one output. Why it should produce at least one output? Can anyone tell me? Just try it.
What, sir?
Yeah, correct. Because if an algorithm does not display anything as an output or does not provide any output, then we does not know whether this algorithm is successfully implemented, whether it is successfully executed, whether it is successfully terminated or not, how we will know. So some output it should display. Am I right? Let's take that you are going to the ATM machine. It has asked you to enter the PIN number. If the PIN is correct, it should allow you to do the next transaction. If the PIN is wrong, it should give you invalid PIN. Is it clear? If when the person who has designed the software for the ATM, he forgot to write, if the PIN is wrong, if it does not display invalid output, it is showing the blank screen, then what you will face? You will not understand whether this ATM machine is working or not. Am I right or wrong? So, every algorithm should produce at least one output. How many members have understood these two things? Input and output. Now you look at this
Yes,
algorithm.
sir.
What is this algorithm is producing the output? What is this algorithm is producing the output? My name is Jagdish is printing the output. What is this algorithm is printing the output? Value of C. It
Yes,
is,
the value of C.
yeah, good. So every algorithm should produce at least one output. Maybe it can display more than one output also, but at least it should produce one output. Now, definiteness. Definiteness means, now let me tell you one thing. Your mother has asked you to bring the vegetables. Okay, you are sitting in home, so please help me go and bring the vegetables. Then what is your next question? Can you tell me?
Which
Yeah,
vegetables?
which vegetables? That is the first question you will ask, because whatever the instruction your mother has given is not clear. She just said purchase the vegetables, but she did not say what are the vegetables, how many kgs of vegetables, where is the money, where you need to go. So this instruction is not clear. Am I right or wrong? So every step in the algorithm should be clear. That is very important. How many members have understood? Every step in the algorithm should be clear and it should be unambiguous. It should not be ambiguous in nature. Suppose here, let's take that. This is the step I'm telling start. Start the algorithm. Display my name is Jagadish. Stop. So all these instructions are clear in nature. Okay. Similarly, let's take this one. Start. Declare the variables a comma b comma c. Read the values a and b. Every instruction is clear. Suppose instead of like this, if I write read, just I read the read only. Is this step 3 instruction is clear or not? Why it is not clear? Yeah, what to read, it does not specify whether I should read, how many variables, what are the variables I need to read. All these things it was not mentioned. So such kind of instructions you should avoid when you are writing the algorithm. Each instruction should be clear. Okay, now let me, so this is about each instruction should be clear. Okay, and it should be unambiguous. Now finiteness. Let me tell you one more simple example. Your mother has asked you to bring the vegetables. She has given the list, she has given the money, and she has told you that go to this shop and bring these vegetables. Now if the shop is very near to you, what is the maximum time you will take? 10 minutes, maximum 1 hour. In between you got a phone call or someone has called you, like that your mother will wait for 30 minutes, 1 hour. If you does not come in 1 hour, then what your mother will do? She will call you. If you does not pick, she will come to the vegetable shop and she will beat you. Am I right? Nowadays the parents are not beating, but that is what the reality. Am I right or wrong? Even our parents beat, we will not say to others. Okay, so what I want to say here, the point is that your algorithm should have finite number of steps. It should not consist of infinite number of steps. Okay, let me tell you one more example. You have joined a software company. Okay, your team leader has asked you to solve a problem and display the results in the next week before the client. You have written the program for that one. You have checked all the syntax, every syntax is correct. You are in a hurry, you did not check the output, and you have presented in front of the client. You have executed the program, but the program is not showing any output. It is running. Then the client will wait for 2 hours or 3 hours. After that, what he will say? You still it is not giving the output. So what you will say? The client will say that please write the program properly and show me in the next week. So every algorithm should have a finite number of steps and should execute. It should execute in a finite amount of time. Is it clear? Your mother has asked you to prepare a tea. Then you should finish it in 10 minutes. Or your mother has asked you to prepare omelette. You should complete in 10 or 15 minutes. You should not take more time. Am I right or wrong? So every algorithm should complete its execution in finite amount of time. What is that finite? Whether it is 1 hour, whether it is 2 hours, whether it is 5 minutes, or it is less than 1 minute, that does not matters, but it should be finite. Okay, Infinite, infinite, infinite time means, see, if you say that my algorithm will run for 2 days, it is okay. Fine, it is also finite. But if you should not say that, I don't know how many days it will take. Okay. Yeah. The meaning is that there is a logical error. See, the errors are two types of errors. One is syntax error, and another one is logical error. Syntax error means you have forgot to write semicolon. Instead of main, you have written something else. Instead of stdio.h, you have written studio.h. Then when you are compiling, it will show this is an error. That kind of errors we will call it as syntax error. You have written like for loop, you have written for loop, there should be a termination condition. You did not written the termination condition, then the program will run, keep on running. Okay, is it clear? Those kind of errors we will call it as a logical errors. Because of the logical errors, it will run for a lot of time, and we could not able to know when it will end. Is it clear? Have you understood that or not? Slowly you will understand. Even when you are doing the for loop, sometimes you will do the infinite loop, then you will stop the program and then you will modify it. Like that, we also will have the experience. Okay, algorithm should be finite. Whether it is what is the amount of that one, it is okay. It is 2 hours or 2 days. That does not problem. If you are writing a machine learning, or sorry, if you are writing a deep learning algorithms, it may take 2 days to train it. That's not a problem, but it should be some finite amount of time. Okay, is it clear? So algorithm should have 10 steps or 20 steps or 1,000 steps. The number of steps should be countable. Okay, suppose let's take that this algorithm. How many steps are there? 3 steps are there. So it is count. In this algorithm, it is 6 steps are there. So it is finite. Okay. Is it clear? Now yeah, someone is asking any doubt. Then in for loops, what I did not understand. Can you repeat? Keep track. But clock also displaying the output now 11:53, 11:54. It's running, but it is every time it is giving the output for you now. But if it is running and it is not giving any output, then we will say that it is infinite. Okay. Every time it is giving the output, so we don't have any problem. Okay. Now effectiveness. Effectiveness means each instruction is required to execute. Meaning is that, suppose let's take that your mother has asked you to purchase the vegetables. She has given you some 200 rupees. You purchase the vegetables of 150 rupees, and 50 rupees you have purchased the dairy milk. Then what your mother will do? Can you tell me? She will scold you. Why you wasted 50 rupees? Because she has given 200 rupees, and whatever the vegetables list she has given you, you purchased it for 150 rupees. Then 50 rupees you have to give to her. Similarly, your mother has asked you to prepare tea. Okay, you like cashew. It is not correct that as you like the cashew, you added the cashew in the tea. Is it required the cashew in the tea? Does anyone have ever drank the tea with cashew? No. So each instruction, if it is required, then only you should write. Let's take that someone has the sentiment that if my algorithm is 10 steps, then only my algorithm is correct. If the algorithm can be completed in 3 steps, they are writing 10 steps, that says remaining 7 steps are not required. What are the steps are required in the algorithm, that only you need to do. Suppose let's take that if I ask you to attend the class at 11 o'clock, then you need to switch on your laptop, you need to open the Gmail, you need to click that one. You should not do that. Go to the YouTube, watch the latest movie, and then attend the class. That is not required. Am I right or wrong? So, whatever the steps you are doing in an algorithm, all the steps, if it is required, then only you need to execute them. Otherwise, you should avoid such kind of steps. Is it clear? How many members have understood? Suppose let's take that I asked you to calculate the factorial of a number. Now in a factorial, only multiplication is required. You like the addition, you should not do the addition, or you like the division, you should not do the division there, because factorial means, suppose 3 factorial means 1 into 2 into 3. You should not, the division is not required. Am I right? So whatever the steps are required, those steps only you should write. Then only we will say that the algorithm is effective. Okay. I hope you have understood the characteristics of an algorithm. Okay. And you have understood the definition of an algorithm. Is it clear? If you are clear, then I will stop today's class and we will continue tomorrow how to write an algorithm. Even we will discuss few examples on writing the algorithm.
Okay, sir.
Okay, let me stop recording this one.
Sir, what about the attendance today?
See, attendance, you no need to worry. Already I told to everyone, once you attend the Google Meet,